been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? To see you again. It's been so long.
Thank you so much for still being there with Mazan Unity 93.3 FM and of course on TV. Our viewer, our listener out there, it's lovely. There's a Tuesday morning, the 5th of September 2023. Petrus Adamuji is my name, and I'm so happy to be in the studio today because you are out there to listen and of course to be with us on the TV arm of Unity 93.3 FM. Again in the studio of Unity this morning, it's an in-house analyst and political scientist, Mr. Shaibu Doro. Shaibu Doro, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Colby. Good morning, viewer and listener. Thank you for staying tuned to Unity Radio, Unity TV. We look forward to rich and entertaining and of course very very insightful interactions. As usual, you're welcome and thank you for always being there.
Yes, of course. One thing is possible, and that is peaceful coexistence. Let's find a way to live in peace with one another. There's a message for you even this morning on Unity FM and TV. Doro, on my way to the studio this morning, by the streets, I saw lots of people, queuing up for some assistance. And so I just want to say appreciations to the individual who deem it fit to assist the people, giving them some, food items like maybe rice and something like that this morning.
That's yes. Beautiful, Kobe. That's beautiful, and it's one thing that we do encourage here on daily basis.
Yes.
Because it's time to pull together. It's time to be our brother's keeper. The few that have been doing a great job in this regard, the likes of Sheikh Abubakar Ghana, the likes of ex-rep member Adam Agweli Al-Ghali, the likes of Abubakar Maidankali, all of these generous guys, Al-Haji Abubakar Sadiq Plaza.
Yes, it's Sadiq Plaza. For this morning, the one I saw this morning on my way is actually said to be a good gesture by
by Al-Haji. He has always done that. A whole lot of other guys whose names we can't mention here because of time constraints and all of that. But we wish them well and we wish them much more riches and much more of God's divine favors.
Yes, and thank you so much. We appreciate. And on that note, we begin to look at issues that we have on our national dailies. This morning we begin with Daily Trust, and this one has to do with NLC. It says NLC shuns the federal government's meeting on warning strike, and this is coming on the heels of Tuesday, the 5th of September. And this is one, but too many things.
Definitely.
People have actually been asking. We have had the NLC going for strike for so many times and too many times, but has it ever solved the issue? Why should it be only when, should it be strike before government look into the issues of people? And that has been the issue, Doro.
Well, it would appear, could be, that the NLC has been taken for granted, by government. Some citizens would sometimes argue that the NLC was only effective, under then Comrade Adams. And since then, the NLC has only been, a dog that can only bark but can't actually bite. That is a certain argument anyway. But again, having said that, I think we must give it to the NLC, because without the NLC, I can't imagine what, would actually be the fate of Nigerian workers. Although, like other citizens have also confessed, I think partisan tendencies or political tendencies seem to have, undermined the modus operandi, the integrity, and all of that of the NLC and all of those issues. It's possible, that there are such such things, But despite that, I think to a fairly good extent, the NLC has represented, the interests, the welfare, and all of that of the Nigerian worker. And without the NLC, I can't imagine what will actually be the fate of the Nigerian worker and all of that. And I think it's a bold a decision on the part of the NLC, to actually say that if something is not done, or because something hasn't been done, about palliating, the sufferings the Nigerians are going through, courtesy of some of the harsh, and seemingly anti-masses policies the government has adopted, it is declaring a warning strike today. The warning strike is supposed to commence today. Now, yesterday, former governor and current Minister of Labor, His Excellency Simon Bakolalong, actually attempted to liaise, to sort of dialogue or interface with representatives of the NLC, but it was to no avail, because the representatives of the NLC weren't even at the meeting. They actually deliberately boycotted the meeting, because they felt it was just going to be another talk show. And I think that you could appreciate this particular position, of the NLC. Don't forget that about a month ago, the NLC declared a one-day warning strike. The economy was shut down, and all of that. And the idea was to actually, twist government into doing the needful, you understand, into doing what should actually be done to palliate the sufferings of Nigerians and all of those things, and then the government on its part came out to say that, something was actually going to be done, and that, the NLC Nigerians could actually, trust the government to keep its word and all of that. And like we've always said here, Kobe, we don't like this idea of strike.
Before
we don't want it. And why? Beautiful. Why do we always have to wait until the damage is done before we begin to look for solutions? The government said, okay, you can call off the strike, and on our part as a government, we will see what we can do. Don't forget that there were protests here and there, and all of those issues, as a result of which, a certain property at the National Assembly were actually vandalized, and all of that, and so we said we didn't like that, and government did say, no problem, we're going to see what we can do, you can call off the strike and all of it. And then Labour decided to say, okay, no problem, in deference to government appeal for us to shelve, to sheathe our sword, we're going to call off the strike and all of that and resume work, but on the condition that the government would actually do the needful. Apparently, the needful hasn't been done. Although, yesterday, when responding to questions, Minister of Labor, ex-Governor Simon Lalong did say that, he would actually crave the indulgence of Labour, because he has only just assumed office as Minister of Labour. He has not even received much briefing as far as this Labour government dispute is concerned and all of that. He would actually plead with Labour to give him a little more time to familiarize himself with the issues, and then see how government could come in and things like. And then he also made reference to the 5 billion naira palliatives that government had given to states, and then the purchase of some CGN buses, with a view to easing transport challenges and all of those issues. But Labour is actually saying no, that is not what we are asking for. We are asking for a reasonable upward review of workers' salaries. We are asking for more money for salaries, and I mean for workers and all of that. The 5 billion naira palliatives is not something that is likely to effectively cushion the effects of the subsidy removal and all of those issues. And you can see the money has been given, bags of rice and grains and all of those things have been purchased. But I can also bet you that millions of citizens have continued to claim that they have not had access to all of these interventions and things like that, especially because some partisan considerations, inevitably, interfered with the distribution processes and all of those issues. These are the issues. So we don't want to, let's not overheat this issue, because I think, our topic for today will actually be having something to do with this, and so we can leave it at that. But, the point, or the bottom line now is that NLC is going on a 2-day warning strike on account of government inability to actually do the needful to actually palliate the sufferings of Nigerians occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy. We will urge our viewers to to exercise a little more patience, because we'll be having an expert who will be discussing much more on these issues and all of that.
Yes, this one is credited to Mr. President, His Excellency Tinubu, the President of Nigeria, and it's coming from the nation. It says, "I will use digital technology to curb waste, save resources for infrastructure."
Wow!
I think use technology.
Yes.
Using technology to curb waste. Okay, you may want to start. Okay, what's the waste? What's
going on?
What's going on?
So to say, yes.
But I think I love the headlines. Using technology to curb waste.
Definitely.
It means Mr. President is aware that there's a waste somewhere, and there is need to tackle it, and then come to a certain point where life could be improved.
Definitely,
people. Yes.
Well, I think that's a good one, especially given the fact that the entire political culture. I have always mentioned this political culture, because at the end of the day, whatever happens, it all boils down to the manner in which we do our politicking and all of those issues. The economy and the polity are interwoven. One cannot do without the other. And Kalmat will normally talk about he will normally talk about economic determinism. What he's actually trying to say is that when economic conditions are good, the polity, and other social, structures will actually
have a reflection
definitely,
of it,
and all of that. And that's why we always talk about economy, polity, and all of those issues, And so what happens in one aspect actually inevitably affects what goes on, and vice versa. Now, this is the issue. Now, President Bola Tinubu yesterday, was interfacing with representatives of Oracle, a tech giant, which paid him a visit, in Aso Rock before he took off for India, where he's actually attending the G20, summit and all of that. And he was actually saying that at this point, there's a need for Nigeria to see what it can do. There's a need for Nigeria to see how it can engage, the advantages afforded the world, by technology, by digital technology, to actually curb waste, in government business and all of that, and especially because he had a deal. He actually had partnered or worked with this same tech giant Oracle, when he held sway as governor of Lagos State, and with their collaboration and support, he was able to sanitize the data collection system in Lagos, and was able to reposition a whole lot of things, and all of that. In fact, the president literally confessed that without Oracle, he may not even have achieved the feats that he was able to achieve, as two-term governor of Lagos State. So he would want to replicate that, in driving, the renewed hope agenda and all of that. It remains to be seen how, I told you something yesterday. I always say this, Nigerian politicians, politicians all over the world, they are fond of this culture of always making promises, very beautiful promises.
Yes.
Anytime they have opportunities to interface with people and all of that. But what happens to those promises is what actually remains to be seen. Yes, this is the issue. The law says every promise made is burdened with the responsibility of fulfillment. Yes. So if you promise a people a utopia, you have the responsibility of care to lead them there. So if you promise to use digital technology to curb waste, we're looking forward to that. We would love that to happen. Colby, you see, the political culture, the economic culture in Nigeria has always been associated with waste, with corruption, with profligacy, with prodigality, with extravagance, and all of those issues. We can't. In fact, I think it is safe to actually say that when you mention Nigeria, when you mention Nigeria's economy or polity, what naturally comes to mind is corruption, waste, profligacy, extravagance, and all of those issues, and so it's heartwarming that President Bola Tinubu is promising a radical departure, from this, culture and all of that. But it remains to be seen. You see, like the president said, he did say that anytime he looks at, this salary bill, the wage bill of Nigerian civil servants, it shocks him to the marrow. It scares him to the bone marrow because it's too much. According to the president, about 90% of the country's total revenue on annual basis goes into salary payments and all of that. And the civil servants actually constitute not more than 1 or 2% of the entire population. So he's asking rhetorically, where is the country going to get all the money, to actually do infrastructure, you understand, and all of those issues, and so there's a need to do something to check the waste that characterizes the bureaucratic processes in the country and all of that. And I think I'm with the president on this. It is true that although the fact that the confession that about 90% of the country's revenue goes into salary payments is, I have qualms about that. It's something that I think is subjective and all of that, because even at the moment civil servants are complaining that their salaries or remunerations are actually grossly inadequate, and all of that, especially vis-a-vis what obtains in other countries and all of that. The average salary of a federal government worker is not more than 100 plus and all of that, which is grossly inadequate, especially given the current economic conditions and things like that. And so when you are saying that you get scared anytime you look at the salary bill, I then begin to wonder, how much is the money, by the way? How much do you pay civil servants, and all of, so if you were to actually effect maybe a 10 or 20% increase in civil servant salary, it then means that maybe we will say that the country has no more money to spend on infrastructure and things like that. But that's not the issue. The issue here is we agree, we would want to see what the president does in this regard, because it is true that there is waste in the civil service, there is corruption in the civil service. In fact, as I speak to you, Kulbi, and according to reports and data and all of that, there are hundreds of thousands of civil servants who have retired, but who haven't been able, or who are not able to even access, their retirement benefits, whether it's their pensions or gratuities and all of those issues. And that is actually because there are some people within the bureaucratic chains who are actually diverting these monies. This is one. Number two, reports also indicate that there are thousands of civil servants who are even dead, but whose salaries have continued to actually read, whose names have been maintained on payrolls. And there are those also working, but you seem not to have them in real time. Definitely, the ghost worker syndrome. Thank you for that intervention. The ghost worker syndrome. And I think one of the reasons then President Muhammadu Buhari, and very commendable initiative, decided to introduce this thing, what do they call it, the treasury single account, was to actually checkmate these
some of this
ghost worker syndrome. Because it is true that there are thousands of people who are actually on government payrolls, but who physically are non-existent. When you go to government offices, you don't see them, but their names are on payrolls. And what we understand from reports and all of that is that there are some dramatis personas, there are some actors within the bureaucratic chain who actually divert monies meant for these non-existent workers and things like. So names are just smuggled into payrolls, because some people want to maximize opportunities and all of those issues. All of these are things we actually need to look at. But on a final note, because I don't want to overhit this issue, on a final note could be, I think when you talk about waste and all of that, I think it's not peculiar to civil servants, right? In fact, I think the problem that the Nigerian worker has with the government is the fact that the government does not actually seem to appreciate its own problems. You understand? Here and elsewhere, we have always talked about the need to cut down on governmental expenditure and things like that. This is the issue. I keep making this reference. When President Buhari held sway as president of the country, he traveled, according to reports, over 50 times to different countries, and all of billions of naira went into such overseas travels and all of that, with no commensurate benefits, strategically and all of those issues. And I have kept saying that if the monies wasted on those foreign travels had been injected into the economy, maybe education, maybe civil service, maybe increasing the salaries of local government workers, and all of those issues, Nigeria probably would have been better for it. But it didn't happen. And I have kept saying, you don't have to actually junkate all over the world before you are able to attract foreign investment. Okay. Ability to attract foreign investments depend on the sanity of the political system, economic development, the transparency of your legal system, security and all of these issues. These are things. So I think at the end of the day, I'm saying this because President TUNTBE has started traveling too. And he's promising Nigerians that he's doing that because he wants to attract, business opportunities and all of those issues. And I'm saying, yeah, it's a good thing to travel because Nigeria cannot exist in an island and all of that. But at the same time, we have to be careful because anytime a president travels, with his retinue of, aid and all of that, billions of taxpayers' money goes into all of these issues. But at the end of the day, you discover that there are no commensurate benefits, and that is where we citizens have problems. Number one. Number two, what is government doing to checkmate even the extravagance that characterizes political offices and all of those issues? Lawmakers, take home, obscene amount of money on daily basis. Political office holders take home obscene amount on daily, monthly basis, and all of those at the expense of the Nigerian worker, at the expense of unemployed youth, at the expense of civil servant, at the expense of millions of suffering citizens and all of these issues. So I think if we want to curb waste and extravagance and all of that, I think after checking the civil service, government also needs to check its own part, because I think at the end of the day, government even takes a larger chunk of the blame than civil service.
All right, we have just 3 minutes to get done with this segment, and I want us to just come home to Plateau, and we have this one on the Vanguard, Mr. Doro. It says Plateau police nab woman who absconded with a 10-month-old baby. Issues of people still having to abscond with babies. This issue, recently we had reports about baby manufacturing
and all of those issues,
and then today someone absconding with just 10 months. You can imagine.
The NAPTIP, I can't remember the full meaning, but NAPTIP is an acronym for something, a certain government institution that actually has something to do with checking trafficking in persons and all of those issues. When you mention baby factories and all of that, I then recall immediately what the NAPTIP has been doing in this regard and all of that. I think the NAPTIP needs to to step up its game, to do more, to checkmate some of these issues. But back to the issue you just raised about, a 10-month-old baby who is said to have been kidnapped by a certain, I think the woman's name is Blessing Solomon, and the report came out yesterday from the, Plateau State Police Command through, I think the Commissioner of Police, whose name, unfortunately I can't recall at the moment, but the story has it that a certain woman, actually, decided to abscond with the 10-month-old baby of her neighbor to a faraway Lagos before she was eventually, trailed and arrested by the police after the baby's mother had raised alarm. And the issue here is that this particular woman, the suspect, and the baby's mother, were actually neighbors. It's somewhere in Shendam or Mangu, one of these local governments. They actually were very good neighbors. They had been together for quite a while to a point where, the baby's mother had actually come to even, give the other woman unfettered access to her house, her babies, and all of that, and apparently the unsuspecting mother actually didn't didn't nurture any skepticism, when she didn't see, her baby,
we have
because as usual,
to be done with this. So
yeah,
I don't know how you're going to put it.
Yeah, I'm going to round it up.
Right.
As usual, she had thought that the baby was actually with the woman and all of that, but after a few hours, she discovered that the baby, the woman was nowhere to be found and all of that. And when alarm was raised, it was discovered that, the baby and the woman were in faraway Lagos. And so the police was able to, trail her and then now we look forward to, a proper investigation to unravel the circumstances and all of that, and to establish whether there was an ill motive and all of that. And for the needful to be done when something
Thank you very much, Mr. Doro.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, we appreciate you for giving us all of that. And now it's time for us to go on a short break. Our listener and our viewer will be right back. Just stay tuned. Thank you.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Hello viewer, welcome to Voices from the Street on Unity TV, Jos. Yes, it's a very hot afternoon here in the city of Jos, and we're right here in Terminus Market, the largest and the most busy market on the plateau. Yesterday we're going to be asking a very simple question: how many millions make a billion? How many millions make a billion? My name is Obadiah Livingston, aka Lead to the V to the ING, aka Boom Stone Boy. Let's get to hear from the voices from the street. Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, you're welcome. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you. Sir, please, I want to ask you a very simple question.
It's all right, I'm waiting to answer the question.
Okay, so, sir, how many millions make a billion?
How many millions make a billion?
Yes.
1,000 million will make a 1 billion, right?
Okay. All right, thank you very much, sir. Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, what's your name, please?
Teresa. I hope it's simple.
Very simple. Okay, so how many million make a billion? How many millions make a billion?
God, I've embarrassed my village people finish.
Okay, now I'll give you time. Think. How many millions make a billion?
God.
No, calculate, please.
When I calculate, thinking. Please, I don't know.
Please, what's your name, sir?
My name is Moses. How many million make a billion?
Yes, sir. Take your time. Think about it.
10 million makes a billion.
10 million makes a billion. You're sure, sir? Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah?
Mary, Mrs. Mary.
How many millions make a billion? Think about it. How many millions? Calculate it. How many millions make a billion?
100.
100 million makes a billion.
Yes.
Are you sure, mommy?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
I'm Raymond. How many millions make a billion? I think it's 500.
500.
Yeah.
You sure?
Check it out.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please, what's your name?
Juliet.
Juliet. How many millions make a billion?
I think 1,000.
Are you sure? Think very well.
Yes.
1,000 millions make a billion. Thank you very much, Juliet.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Please, what's your name, sir?
I'm Joshua.
How many millions make a billion?
100 million make a billion.
You're sure, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
What, sir?
Retake.
Yeah? Okay, Ritik. How many millions make a billion?
100.
100, you sure?
Yes.
Thank you. Please, what's your name, sir?
Universe.
How many millions make a billion?
Millions make a billion. 1,000 million.
1,000 million?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think so.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer?
Oh, thank you so much. It's gladdens my heart to be here this morning. And this is a Unity Train Transit segment. That's what we call it. Beatrice Adamuiji is my name. If it's okay by you, you can just call me Kubi. That too is not bad. And so thank you so much. Don't forget, today is Tuesday, the 5th of September 2023. In the studio this morning, Mr. Shwabudoro remains in the studio. And of course, together, we were to do this. Shwabu, if you don't mind, let me say another big good mornings to you.
Thank you. You've always done that. I appreciate that. $1 million after the program.
Oh
don't
my!
Worry, just
I
to
really
show the effect of subsidy removal.
Oh my! You know, I'm beginning to have strategies that will help me, Beatrice, to cushion the effects of a subsidy removal. But again, we have an expert in the studio. You know, upon inauguration 29th of May 2023, the announcement of President Bola Tinubu removal of fuel subsidy has thrown many Nigerians, if not all Nigerians, into hardship, economic hardship, so to say, or to qualify, unbearable economic hardship. Now, Nigerians cannot continue to wait upon the government to send in palliatives in order to cushion the effects. Nigerians would have to tilt towards their self-means by which they can begin to support themselves in order to cushion the effects by themselves. And today, in the studios of Unity 93.3 FM and of course TV, we have an expert with whom we'll be discussing these issues and how to propose solutions and to look at government established approach and strategies to cushion the effects, if that will be effective enough, timely for Nigerians to have their share of being relieved of this economic hardship. And so our topic to discuss today remains cushioning the effects of subsidy removal and assessment of government's palliative measures. And in the studios this morning, I am honored to introduce to you Comrade Abubakar Bala Asali, a businessman, a business administrator. Comrade, good morning, this lovely morning.
Good morning, Mr. And thank you very much, and I am really honored for being here.
Thank you. You see, like I said already in my preamble, if not all Nigerians, then maybe 90% of Nigerians are thrown into hardship, economic hardship. And it's so to qualify it, we can say it's such an unbearable one situation going on with people at the moment. And this is as a result of some of these unpopular economic policies of today's Nigeria's government administrations led by Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Now, let's begin by, if you support this subsidy removal at all, let's begin from there, comrade, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that is my own perspective on
yes.
This. Okay. What I can first say is everything in this life that has an advantage most definitely has a disadvantage. So based on my own opinion, I can say that removing the petroleum subsidy, it is a good idea, but now it is not an idea to remove it at the moment, because already the country is already in a situation whereby everybody is facing a lot of hardship. The businessmen, the government workers, and everybody.
Okay, people are going through hardship.
People are going through hardship, and the economy is really at a stake. It is at an unbearable stake because of the cashless policy.
Okay. Yes, the cashless policy.
Because the economy has not finished regaining its conscience, and another economic hardship just popped in. You see, it is a very bad thing to happen right now.
Okay, comrade, you seem not to have problem with the fact that the subsidy is removed, but you're tilting towards your take seems to be like the timing is what you're having problem with. So when would you have rather prefer, government should it have been after a year in office or after 2 years in office before? What's your take?
It should have been after a year or 2 years in office. Maybe it can be. Let them still continue subsidizing it, maybe from 200 naira, let it be 350 naira, maybe after a year, while people have started adjusting, and then it will go back to 700 naira.
Okay. But comrade, a lot of people believe that fuel subsidy over the years have not been so, it hasn't been for the benefit of common Nigerians, and so it's like some few individuals have been benefiting from it. So what's your take on that?
Yes, as I said, everything that has an advantage must definitely has a disadvantage. Yes, because they said some individuals are the ones benefiting from the subsidy. Yes, it can be so, because they are actually talking about politicians who are stealing the funds of the subsidy removal. But honestly, the poor man is really the person benefiting from the subsidy removal, honestly.
Yes, the poor man is actually suffering the effects of removal
of the fuel subsidy. Honestly, because removal of fuel subsidy has brought in inflation. Everything has, price of every commodity in the country has increased. There is no single commodity price that hasn't increased within the past months of subsidy removal.
Okay, let's talk about the 5 billion shared to states as a measure by the federal government, to cushion the effects of the hardship, caused by some of these economic policies.
The 5 billion that was shared, because it was given by the federal government as a palliative. It was given to state government, so that state government, they are thinking state government are even closer to the masses than the federal government. That is the reason they give the money to the state government, and it is given as palliative, which can help. You see, palliatives are normally things that are given by government in order to help the hardship that people are going through. Like giving out food, paying out school fees. So all these things can be as palliative, giving out loans. So these are things that government can do with that money. But to me, I hope, I won't lie, it is better to be honest in this life. I hope the government gives out those money to people who need it. Because honestly, people are suffering. With that 5 billion, if they will be honest, and at least, even if they won't do much with it, let them buy foodstuff and give it to the poor. Because the masses are really, really hungry. People are complaining. If you are moving on the streets, you will hear people crying out. You will know the suffering. We are staying with the masses. We know
what they're going through.
Yes, we know what they are going through.
I see. Comrade, I love it when you said the federal government, ruled out this approach as a means by which, because of the feelings that, the federal government has the states as that's a component that is closer to the people. And of course, I learned also that getting to the state government directed some portion of rice and in some measures backs to local governments, because again it is that the local government seem to be the most closest to the masses. And all of these are there to make sure that it gets to the right people. Do you see it happening that the right person, the persons who need this thing the most, will end up getting it. Do you think this will be judiciously used?
Okay, as I said, let me be honest with you. We are all staying in the same locality. We haven't seen anything.
You haven't seen anything?
I haven't seen anything, honestly. And people who I am staying with,
none is a witness of seeing anything at all.
None is a witness of seeing anything. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if they are planning on giving out the palliatives, not now. Maybe the government might be more educated than us. Maybe they have a specific time that they want to share out those palliatives.
Okay, let's talk about you. You're a businessman.
Yes.
And then in my introduction, I said, if not all Nigerians, then probably, let's say 90% of Nigerians are, been hit, affected by this subsidy removal. You're a businessman. You should be doing fine, I think. But can you just tell us how this policy is also affecting business?
Actually, as I said, and the subsidy that was removed, it has affected everything.
Okay.
Inflation. So as inflation is coming into the country, if inflation hits a commodity, actually the people who are buying those commodities are normally coming down. That means the demand normally goes down. And we are trying to maximize our profit, and there is no way you even maximize profit.
Have you incurred any losses as a result of
a lot of losses?
Okay.
You will buy products and you bring it to us, and you will even get a loss, not even talking of
profit.
Yes,
because of low patronage.
Yes, because I am telling you, it is not only my own business, it is every business that in Nigeria. Because you see each and every commodity that you can see in this world, each and everything, it is being transported one way or the other, from your head to toe. If you are wearing clothes, everything that is being transported from one place to another. And as far as that increment in fuel price, so you see what will happen.
It will happen.
It is going to affect every commodity, because each and every commodity is being transported. So this is what is bringing inflation into the country, and the increment in price. It is not even a little bit; it is a lot. Because if you are traveling from Jos to Lagos, if you normally travel at the rate of 10,000 naira, so now the rate of petrol is now 3 times its old price.
Yes.
So you are expecting to go to Lagos by road is around 45,000 naira, and which is a lot. People have stopped traveling.
And not because they don't need to travel.
And transportation, like going from one place to another, it is a must for people to go from one place to another. If you want to go to Faringada, you cannot trek.
Yes.
If you are staying in Pukuru, you cannot trek. If you have a relative that is dead in Bauchi, you cannot trek to Bauchi. You must transport and go there. It is not something that maybe height you can regulate. So most funds, that your personal funds that maybe you allocate in things like you buy food, you buy clothes, you pay for your school fees or your children's school fees, so you are putting more of that money into transportation. You understand? So that is why I have been talking about this palliative. I didn't mean government, because the price of foodstuff has increased dramatically, because it is a lot. So maybe if the government can give out palliative, let them give people food so that they will think of something else. Maybe they will diversify, because as far as you are always looking for what to eat, you cannot think of another different thing.
You're already talking about what I was, waiting to ask you. What should government do? So I think maybe just continue on that note. What should government do in order to just bring an end to this? If not to terminate it completely, but to bring it, soften it.
If you are affected in one place, at least let them help you in another place.
Like,
so already the subsidy in the fuel is in billions of naira. It is a lot of money, because we are going to save trillions. So government can give a lot of food. Let them distribute a lot of food to the masses, to the poor, people who are hungry, like people who are in the rural areas. If they will give them food, they will think of something else. Maybe everybody will start diversifying. If they say go to and farm, will you farm without food? It is not possible. If they say go and work, maybe you work from morning till evening. All the money is into food. You have all the money, you buy food with it. So there's no way you are going to save money. Like government can do things like maybe those funds of the subsidy removal, let them put it into our educational sector. Let people not be going outside the country for education. And why is it in Nigeria we have all these resources and they are still going on ASU strike?
In effect, you are actually saying that it would be a good idea to, diversify sources of income.
Yes.
So that government has, alternative sources of income, and then doesn't have to, remove subsidy in order to increase revenue and things like that.
No, even if the money the subsidy removal money, because we are losing in billions, as they said, and it is honest, because all the countries in the world, because Nigeria was amongst the countries that was selling the cheapest product, we would refine, we produce the crude oil, but we are transporting it outside the country, and we will sell it to them, and we will still buy it in dollar.
From them.
Yes, from them. That is what is devaluating naira. Had it been we are buying from them in naira, the naira value would have been better than this.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Do you think it's possible to stop buying fuel? I mean, to stop importing fuel? What should we do? Do you think it's possible to stop it?
Yes, our refineries. Me, honestly, to my own opinion, let them just privatize these refineries that we are having. Because if you are a businessman, because as far as you are looking over public things, you won't look over it as you would take your own personally. Even if it is something that you are giving free, you will not take it responsible as something you earn it with your own hard-earned sweat, with your sweat.
Okay. Now, in all of what you've been saying, one thing has, been on and on and on. You've been talking about, providing food to the people, providing food. I think you've said this in virtually all of what since you have been, making your points. Why do you, why do you really take the issue of providing food to the people so serious that I could hear it, dominate your conversation? Why is it so?
In the hierarchy of needs, the most important, the first of the hierarchy, we are actually talking about air, water, and food. Food is very important, and it is expensive because people cannot even afford it. It is much. People cannot afford it. You hear people crying out. They cannot remember when last they have eaten 3 times in a day. Some 2 times, some
none even.
Some none.
Some have to practically beg.
So some have to beg. So if those funds will be given, we already have our food reserves, which we have over 50,000 metric tons of food that is even kept in our national food reserve. What is the need of it?
Okay, how urgent do you think this issue of food? How urgent it is? Should it be the next 2 months? You expect that food should be made available to those who need it, or is it like today?
Actually, it is today, because you see, if government are going to give out food, actually, deflation is going to come into the country. That's prices of commodities are going to come down, because you see, food is a commodity that makes other commodities increase in price. You understand? So if people don't buy food, they already have it. So you see, they will put their own money into other things.
Okay, what's your final thoughts as we conclude on this segment?
Okay, my own final thought is government should please think of the masses. At least let them know that people are suffering. This is what I am honestly going to say. If I have a chance to meet with them and talk to them about the poor and the masses, this is what I am honestly going to talk about.
Okay, Doro, yes, I think we just have like 4 minutes to go. Why not talk about, I would love we emphasize, because when I ask a comrade, he said, if the urgency of getting to provide food for the masses, he actually said it's not in the next 1 or 2 months. It has to be today.
Definitely.
That's to demonstrate, to express how urgent this is. Now, can you just throw more, your position as regards to how urgent this food issue is?
It's very urgent. It's more than urgent. He did say something about hierarchy of needs. Apparently talking about Abraham Maslow's theory of needs and all of that. There are physiological needs, things that you can't survive without shelter, clothing, and all of those things. And food is the most important thing, isn't it? Government has distributed, I read, I think this morning or yesterday, that Abba Yusuf of Kano State has distributed 450,000 bags of rice to Kano residents, and these are the sort of things we're talking. And that is in addition to a reduction in school fees for higher institutions, for government-owned higher institutions in Kano State. I think by about 50% or thereabout. I think I learned from the story that about for resuming students in Kano State University, I think the charges are not more than 11,000 or thereabout, and for new students it's 15,000, and that's what we're talking about. So I think it's something that has to be looked into. I think 3,000 bags of rice. It's not going to do anything. But that's the story we have in Plateau State. Anyway. Yes. It's not going to do anything.
All right. I know. I just have 2 minutes or thereabout to go on a short break, but I'm not begging you to tell me the strategies you have as a businessman. Since you came in, you've been talking about the people getting to have food to eat, and I'm sure, I'm not a witness, but I'm sure it is because you're having the masses at heart, and then you can feel what they're feeling. And of course, in some ways, one of the questions Mr. Doro asked you, have you been affected, your business? And you say yes, though you have been affected by this hardship. But I want to believe do you have any strategy in order to, from your own end, to cushion the effects, not really waiting for the government to do that? You may not need, I may not need you to tell me all of the strategies on how much you've helped people, but do you have anything in mind
as a businessman? As a businessman, are you cutting down your prices of your commodities?
And then to help people, I want to know if you want to help someone at all. Don't tell names if you, but do you have anything to help people?
Yes, actually, because I am in the oil business, most of our stations sell the best quality product, and we sell at the best price. Just thinking of the masses, how people are going to, how all this hardship is going to reduce. Honestly, this is what we have been doing.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you.
Quite commendable.
That is lovely, and thank you, our viewer and our listener out there. It's good to know that you are still tuned. The discussion has been with a comrade, Abubakar Bala, personally a businessman and a business administrator. At this point and in time, we'll be going on a very short break, and when we come back, it's going to be all of the time that you will call in the studio line and make your contributions on the topic that has to do with strategies and more strategies on how to cushion the effects of failed subsidy economic hardship amongst the Nigerians. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your Unity TV? Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long.
Lovely, and it's exciting to be in the studio this morning. And don't forget, you tune to Unity 93.3 FM and TV. And Beatrice Adamo is my name, and in the studio it has been an in-house analyst, Mr. Shaibu Doro. And again, we are so honored this morning to have in the studio the very man who came in, and we have been having to discuss on the topic, looking at issues around strategies and what we should do to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy on Nigerians. And if you let me, as a common Nigerians, of course. And so he is Comrade Abubakar Bala Apasali, a businessman and a business administrator. And now is that time for our listener and our viewer to call and make his or her imputes. I think we'll just begin right away without waste of time. And so the number to callers is 070-3235-3315. And those of you who are live with us, either on Facebook, YouTube, or TV, you can get the number down the screen there. If you call, just tell us your name, where you're calling from, and then go right ahead. In a minute you make your points and positions, and it's lovely community of intelligent listeners. I really cannot wait to begin to hear from you. And if you want to send an SMS, you do well to send it through 0808 478 9999, and do that quickly so that I don't leave the studio before your messages begin to drop. Stick to the position of promoting peace on the plateau of Nigeria, and of course by extension Africa, and comments made on this platform and not in any way the position of Unity 93.3 FM. Let's begin the conversation with the community of intelligent listener and viewer. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, it's good to have you. Who is with us?
My name is Sule. I'm calling you from Lasisi.
Sule from Lasisi. It's good to have you. You have it. Yes, I can hear you, Sule.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Just letting you have you have been doing the best.
Thank you.
Because you know what masses are going through. So I hope the government will look into this problem, because a lot of people that are unable to keep their calling. Now the school is coming by maybe next week. So how do you expect that you are looking for people? And I know that some of the schools, not especially the state government and the federal government, have already increased their things. So, the private one, I think they are going to increase it. So I hope the government will do the meeting, so that how can a person try to keep himself down at the end of the day when children come back to school, then the school fees, not especially by this time and in this first time, people going to spend a lot of money because the people new killer that is going to begin. So I hope the federal and state government will do the meeting, not especially the state government. Let them do something about education so that to reduce the cost of this,
I say amen to that, and thank you so much, community of intelligent listeners. Our listener and our viewer, do well to join us and make your inputs. Together we can make Nigeria that Nigeria of our dreams. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, thank you very much for joining us on Unity Train. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome.
This is Daniel Choji calling you from Don.
Oh, Daniel Choji.
I want to contribute this way. The government, I think the government knows what Nigerians want. And there are some forces that are hijacking this one because they are benefiting from it. So we like the government to summon courage so that it will prevail against those evil people.
Oh my, thank you. Thank you very much. Daniel Chaji calling all the way from Dong. Well, I don't know if it's Don Casa or Don Sama, but he has made his point very clear. Government is aware of what people are going through, but should summon courage against the forces that are against it. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. And Abubakar Basali, the guest in the house.
Thank you.
My name is Peace Ambassador Abdullah Rokibu, coming from the Ingeni.
It's been a while, Peace Ambassador, but it's good to have you this morning anyway.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Keep
Thank you.
Thank you. Abubakar Kakali make my day.
Oh,
but in this situation, anybody that will touch the life of people in the community, I will be happy with him. Anywhere. But Abubakar Kakali, please, what are you doing for passing a special challenge in Plateau State? You know, most of them at times they used to go and bed. Most of them they have something doing, but most of them now they can't move. What major you people put in place for them? Secondly, you see, people have to come together and help individual people. Because last week, Ogapade distributed food materials in Dengari. And today, Sadiq Plaza is doing it in Boston, which is very commendable. Indeed.
Yes.
Now, if it will happen to Rukubarot or Don or somewhere else, we will be happy. We will celebrate them. Let's come together and help individuals because people are in critical condition. And I'm telling you, I am not blaming the government, but government are not doing the needful in terms of palliative.
Okay.
I don't like so much things like palliative from the government because the people that are supposed to get it, believe me, they will not get it. The poor people, the masses that are supposed to benefit it, they will not benefit it. Like my area, they bring 7 bags. We have more than 20,000. How many people will get it? So if you see somebody get 1 cup or half cup of rice, don't blame him. Please, government, do the needful. We are praying for you. Do the needful and save the life of passing in the community. Thank you very much, Unity NTM. Thank you very much, Kogi. Thank you very much.
God bless. God bless.
Thank you very much. Rocky Boy is asking our guest, do you have any package for people, physically challenged? We're talking about. So he would want you to respond later on. We give you that time. Hello, good morning.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, it's Abraham Douglas. I'm calling from
Abraham Douglas, we missed you during City Report this morning. Anyway, it's good to have you.
Yeah, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the issue with Africa is the fact that Africa is being ruled by people who are not experts. They don't weigh the situation and the circumstance of their policies before they implement it. And so the citizens bear the brunt of wrong policies. So in a situation, for example, where we have leaders who are experts economically, they will have understand the consequences of removing the subsidy on petroleum. And now, people are going through extreme hardship. You can feel the hardship when you walk around the city. You see people are going through a lot of pain. We are just coming out of cashless policy.
Yes.
Businesses were destroyed. Many people lost their savings. We are still grappling with this ugly situation. And now subsidy was also removed at the same time.
Yes.
You think that the people who are running us are actually sensitive to the situation we're going through. And now school has resumed. School fees have been increased to 45% from nursery to universities. So which one do you want the parents to start with? The situation is just critical.
Yes.
So I think that they have to do the needful.
Thank you.
It's nothing at all to write home about. Because if you look at the population of people within some words, if you bring 10 bags of rice for 500,000 people, then the suggestion is just to lose the rice, cook it, and the people should pay up. And they'll be giving them almost in their mouth. So you could imagine, is this palliative? People are going through extreme difficulties. And I think power belongs to the people. And the people have to stand up to decide how they are ruled. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Douglas, calling from Tudunwada. Okay, he began his position by saying Nigeria is mostly led by people whom are not expert in such areas, and I want to add to that and say probably again people who most of them are not having the masses at heart. Hello, good morning.
Good
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm calling you from Angorugu.
It's good to have you this morning. Please, you have a minute.
You see, the situation we find ourselves is very, very unfortunate. The question we should be asking ourselves, are we really ready to build a nation? That is the main question we should be asking ourselves.
Okay.
Patriotism has led us, lack of patriotism has led us to this situation we are in. At the top, are you patriotic? At the center, are you patriotic? At the local, are you patriotic? We, the citizens, are you patriotic? You see, all this situation we find ourselves, me as a citizen of this country, based on the situation, how I have come to understand what this subsidy is all about. It's a tax that I have to pay to see that my country moves ahead. But the problem is, am I willing to play my part? Look at, we are all saying federal government, federal government. Ask yourself, in the state government, what are they doing? Go and see other states. They have started cutting down the school fees for the national institution and all this thing. Some are reducing it to 50%. Some are reducing it to 30%. Start asking yourself, your own governor, what is he doing? All of these people collect their own shares based on what the federal government used to give them. How are they able to see that they are liberating the sufferings of people? What is the local government? All more hands they see on this. You are here, they are sharing you one cup of rice. In other states, they are giving one bank. Can you compare those things? So we must get back and start thinking of how to build a nation. It's all about everybody playing his own part. Go and see what is happening in the market. Even the person that measures the measure he goes to buy in the market is different from the measure he sells to you. This is the situation we find ourselves. The person selling petrol to you in the filling station, the amount he has in the board is different from the amount he's selling to you in the machine. This is the situation we find ourselves. How do you know this is being done by the leaders? We know how to be the nation. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. A very pathetic one here as an SMS saying, good morning, sir. My regards to all your guests there. Honestly, I am hungry and my children, we need help. I pray that those in authority will do right thing. Thank you for your good work. You've not sent your name, please. Hello, good morning. Okay, Doro, you may.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
My name is Chief Ambassador with Big 7. I'm calling from ZINARIYA.
Big 7, it's been a while, and it's good to have you this morning.
First of all, let me start by commending the effort of your guests for their wonderful elucidation this morning.
Thank you.
Mr. Guest, good morning.
Good morning.
Really, the masses are suffering this time around. Let me give you an example. This issue of subsidy, before the removal of this subsidy, they say that only few people are enjoying this subsidy. But now we realize that even we, the masses, we are enjoying it before. Let me give you an example again. Assuming one of your relatives is going to be wedded at a place like Kano. Let me say the transportation for going and come back is 5,000. For me to give him, for me to pay 10,000, that is for going and come back. To go and spend 10,000. I prefer to send 5,000 to him instead of spending that 10,000 to go and come. And again, with the lack of these philanthropies, we are not here to praise anybody. We are not here to campaign for everybody. But anyone that did good, we have to come and appreciate him. With the lack of this Mutala Loshi, Abubakar Ghana, Abubakar Plaza, Alhaji Ibrahim Ibrahim, these people are really helping the matter. We want people to copy from their this thing. God bless you, CFM. Thank you. Have a nice day. God bless you, people.
Amen. Thank you very much. Big 7, Peace Ambassador there, saying it's not to promote any individual, but to commend their good gestures. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Okay, I think you may need to call us back if you want to do. It's 070-3235-3315. That is the line to be a part of these conversations. How to get ourselves out of the trouble that we're going through at the moment. Good morning. Hello. Oh, you may need to speak up, please. We barely can hear you.
Okay, hello, good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. Who's on the line this morning?
This is Kamal from Lagos.
Okay, the man from Ricos. You have a minute, please.
Yeah. Sir, please, my own contribution this morning is that the federal government has done its own best. It remains the same, understand, among our governors who has his people at heart. Because you can see what is happening in Borno State.
Yes.
Taraba, Kano, Kaduna, and Kwara. Those governors are showing their people that yes, they have sympathy. They are feeling what their people are feeling. For our governor here, what is he doing? What do we have on ground?
Okay.
So I think we should stop lamenting too much about federal government about this palliative. He has done his own part. So let us put pressure on our governors to see what they have for us and where they can set us. And there are some few philanthropies that are helping, like for this plaza and others, as they mentioned. We need to encourage this kind of people and even to copy what they are doing. That person that said the other time that his children is, please, if you can call the number out so that anybody that can help, understand, can help it.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, we'll see what we'll do about that. The number is with us, and then we'll get to see if it's one thing we should do on air. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kubi.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My name is Ude Diaz.
Mr. Kingsley Barnabas, it's good to have you. Now, who you do us?
Brother, see, in this platform, I'm always saying it, I'm not a representative, but I'm always saying it, and when I say it, it will come to pass. Look at how they are treating us about parity. There's nothing like parity. Assuming that people use that money for that parity to repair our refinery.
Okay.
We Nigerians, the good citizens, will be very happy.
Yeah.
We will give them kudos to the government. We will be happy with them. But now, my brother, people are, in fact, let me tell you, soon now, what you'll be seeing now, like my side now, what I'm seeing now, a man will leave the children and the wife are running away, nowhere to find. A woman will leave the family with the husband and run away, nowhere to find. And very soon now, what you'll be hearing is case of landlord and tenant. This is what you'll be hearing. Because of what? How the government are suffering the masses. We are suffering. The government doesn't want to care for us. All they are after is them and their family. My brother, things are very hard. People are suffering. People are dying. I'm telling you the reality. Very soon now, this is what you'll be hearing. Case of landlord and tenant. And what I see. How will we end up? My brother, may God help this our country.
Amen.
I love Nigeria. May God keep Nigeria and bless Nigeria for us. And remove those evil ones that doesn't want to help the promises. And God, may God, as they carry the devil carry key, draw their heart and mind. May God always lock up their hearts too, so that they will not see tomorrow. Now is my prayer for them. I'm not afraid for them to bet again, because Nigeria government doesn't want to help us. We are suffering, we are dying. People are dying every day. God bless you and bless our good country.
Thank you very much. He's talking about padlock, so that if it has to do with the devil, padlocking their hearts, so that should be open before tomorrow. I say amen. It's a good prayer, so that we have people who have, the masses at heart. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to have you. Who is on the line? Who is on the line this morning? I guess we really cannot get that one. Okay, I may not be giving you the line of the person who sent a regard saying, your guest there, honestly, I'm hungry. The person saying, I'm hungry, and children issues as well. But you can you can call us, contact Unity FM, if you want to do anything to assist, please. The line to call Unity FM at the moment, you can just call me on 0808-478-9999 to assist the very person who sent us his or her concern about the family. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Kumbi and Mr. Dero.
Thank you very much.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. We can hear you.
Pastor Young,
yes,
right?
This is Pastor Henry J.J. Dara, known as Young T of Doncaster.
You're welcome, Pastor Young T. You're welcome back.
I want to appreciate you and Mr. Doro for, doing justice and also inviting the guests to the studio to enlighten the public about the needs and what to do to cushion the effect of the suffering that the Nigerian people are going through. One thing is this nonchalant attitude from the side of the government is one thing that is paining my heart so much. Whatever policy government will bring out, they should consider the negative effect it will have on Nigerians. And I want to also thank God that there are well-meaning Nigerians who are doing well by giving a helping hand to Nigerian citizens. You understand? In the Doncaster community, thank God, Abdullah Iroki boy from Belgium talked that he had like 7 bus. But here in Doncaster, I don't think, though I traveled to Abuja and came back, I don't know if anybody has gotten it. It is when they meet people's vote, that is when they will come and be telling people all kinds of fake promises. But when it is time to show practical something, they will never do it. I am telling you, any politician that will come to Doncaster, you must ensure that he has one thing or the other to do for Doncaster people. If not, that is how it will. Others will come and campaign here.
Thank you.
People cannot just be using us as scapegoats to achieve their aim and then leave us or their hanging without knowing where we belong to. Please, those people in charge of sharing this palliative, they should do well to ensure that it reaches the people who are supposed to get it.
Thank you very much, Pastor Young T. We'll let the man in the house, Mr. Doro, to read through some of the Facebook things that we have. Before he does that, please, if you want to do anything to assist this attention, this concern about a hungry man and having children, a family issue there, please just call me on 0808-478-9999 and we'll do the needful to extend same. We may not be able to send the number of the person on air. This is not because we don't trust you, but of course there's no permission. There are no permissions to do that yet. But for me, you can call us Unity FM. Hello.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The Facebook platform, as usual, there are a number of messages here. We have this one from Balangwari Renault. Simply is saying, "Good morning, NLC, and congratulations on your Yajin Aiki." Apparently, congratulating NLC therefore embarking on a 2-day one strike today. And then Aminu Adamukwa, Happy Workers Unity. That's what he's saying. And then we have Muhammad Tajuddin. He said, "Good morning to the gentleman in the studio. Some states are giving some meaningful palliatives to their citizens, but we cannot say the same thing here in Plateau State. I have not received any palliative and I've not seen anyone close to me who got anything from our state government in the name of palliative. Life will continue anyway. I pray to the Almighty God to continue to bless our country." Muhammad Tajuddin from Narubuta, Nuru Ibrahim, watching you live from here in Jos. Good to know you're watching us, and that's why we're on TV, so that you can see what's going on. And Abdullahi Rocky Boy, who called earlier, says, "Good morning, Kulbi and Doro." And Pasali says, "Many people are in hunger in Nigeria. Abu Bakar Bala Pasali, God bless you. You have made my day." Apparently appreciating you there. Murtala Yahya Meigia, "Good morning, my excellent radio presenters, Kulbi and Mr. Doro and the guests. Thanks for the good work. We always appreciate your good work, the good work you're doing. Please keep it up. The poor people in the G20 countries are not hungry or poor. They are not facing security problems. There is nothing to do for their youth. They should try to solve those problems. God bless Nigeria and Plateau State. Have a great day." From Murtala Yahya. For now, these are the messages.
Okay, would you to respond, especially Rocky Boy asked if there's any package for those with, physically challenged, and some couple of others that you may need to respond.
I think that's important, Kobe.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
Some people can't walk to your
So
station.
we just have just 3-4 minutes to be done with this whole segment.
Honestly, me and my company have been working on the palliatives to distribute out to people, and from now,
it's like he said, any special arrangement, if you're sharing palliatives,
yes,
how are you going to incorporate them? How are you going to reach those people who can't walk to maybe where they can access the palliatives.
So we are going to try our best maybe to look for their association so that we will give it out to them.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. I think these are some of the things that we have for today's. It has been very lovely to have you, but it wouldn't be fine if we just appreciate and let you go without concluding and all of what you came in to talk about. Final words.
Okay. Thank you very much. As we have talked on what the government should do, so people, what I think of is people should. I am sorry for all the hardship that people are going through, and we should still put faith in the government, and we are hoping by the grace of God, as it is already said, it won't ever be easy in this life. You only get stronger. So we should at least give a little time, and we hope things are
been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your
Unity TV?